11 years ago, I died and came back to life. This experience not only changed and shaped the trajectory of my life moving forward, but it revealed a core aspect of my soul's purpose. It was 2014. I was in the middle of my Peace Corps service in Tanzania, Africa, when a few friends asked me if I wanted to go down to a music festival in Zambia. And so we took a 3-day bus ride down to go experience the sights, the scenes, the sounds. And while I was there, I saw an advertisement for whitewater rafting, and this adrenaline-seeking, adventurous spirit within me lit up. Previous to this, I'd only gone whitewater rafting a few times, but this experience was just calling my name. And so a few days later, I entered onto a raft with a few of my friends, and we began to go down this wild and somewhat tumultuous river. We were about halfway through when I was ejected from the raft, falling backwards into the water just before entering a Class 5 rapid. And as my body began to float down into the first rapid, a ton of fear entered into my body, and I started to fight and tried to find my way to shore. But the more that I fought, the more that I struggled, the more that I tried to save myself, the more tired I began. This water was taking me up and taking me down, and as I was trying to go up to catch a breath, I'd be immediately taken back down, hitting the rocks, swallowing water. My body was just getting thrown around like I was in the middle of a washing machine. And the more that this happened, the more I just began to give up, the more I began to let go and fully surrender. And I remember a point of this journey, riding this rapid down, where I began to leave my body and a light began to approach me. And if you've tuned into any other near-death experiences, you've heard about this light. This overwhelming light just began to fill me, and peace and serenity became my experience. And as I fully let go in that moment, I was taken away into another world. And then moments later, perhaps minutes later, my body was picked up by a kayaker, and he started to press on my chest as he got me onto his boat. And the next thing I remember, coughing up water and taking a big gasp of air in through my mouth and letting it go. And in that moment, as I looked up at the blue sky, as I looked at the canyons around me, I was given a message that I'll never forget. That the breath is not just a mechanism for survival, but it is a tool for transformation. It is the tether, it is the bridge between this world and the divine. And when we learn how to harness our breath, that we can totally shift our lives. And so coming back into this breath, given this message, I knew that a big part of my mission here on earth was to dive as deep as possible into understanding what the breath truly is, and then sharing that with others. What followed that experience over many years was the co-creation of our unique and original sonic breathwork modality. It was the launch of our Beats and Breath app, and it was the writing of my book, Master Your Breath, Transform Your Life. And in this video, I want to share why your breath is the Swiss Army knife of healing, and how you can tap into the power and potential of your own breath to elevate yourself and your life on all levels. Did you know that you take on average 20,000 breaths per day? Contemplate that. 20,000 breaths per day. Now imagine that. How many breaths you then take a year? How many breaths you then take in a lifetime? Yet, all of these breaths, most of these breaths, go completely unnoticed. While it's a automatic function of the body to keep us alive and tethered to this physical human experience, it is much more than that. And what I've found over a decade of experiencing, researching, and sharing the power of breath is that it is the ultimate tool for transformation. This tool of our breath, when we begin to give it attention, when we begin to intend and consciously breathe, our lives begin to change and shift and expand on all levels. Physically, we begin to release tension. We begin to improve our energy flow. We begin to strengthen our immunity, improve our digestion, and so many other things. Mentally, we begin to quiet the chatter of the mind, tap into that flow state, increase focus, decrease brain fog, and allow ourselves to get into our creative channel. Emotionally, we can process grief, anger, stress, fear, anxiety, restoring balance and stability into our internal system. And spiritually, we can awaken and unlock our intuition, tap into greater states of awareness and insight, and deepen our connection to our own purpose and to source. And this is just a few of the many benefits that the breath offers and why I feel so passionate and excited to share this medicine. So the question isn't whether you're breathing, but whether the breath is keeping you stuck in survival or opening you for transformation. And in this moment, I invite you just to tune into your breath. Tune into the rhythm of your breath. Is your breath fast? Is it shallow? Are you holding your breath? Or is it deep? Is it steady? Is it rhythmic? Most of us, when we first tune in, we find that our breath is actually quite shallow. We're breathing from the chest. And this is because we've been locked into a habitual fight or flight pattern that we learn very early on from our childhood trauma, from our wounding, from our conditioning. If we look at a baby, a newborn baby, you're going to see that baby breathing into its diaphragm, into its belly. But as we go through different painful experiences, this experience locks us into these shallow breathing patterns, which only exacerbate the stress and anxiety we feel inside from living in this tech-driven, chaotic, noisy, modern world. And so through this, we are in this perpetual sympathetic nervous system state where stress, where anxiety, where fear, where disconnect, where depression become the norm. But it's through our breath we begin to shift all of this. We shift our internal state to experience greater focus, greater calm, greater relaxation, and greater peace. Now, before we get deeper into the nervous system and why it matters and how the breath is correlated to all this, ancient cultures have known this for thousands of years. Cultures, ancient Greece, ancient Egyptians, ancient Hawaiians, indigenous and shamanic cultures have all used the power of breath and breath work to expand their consciousness, to reach heightened states of awareness, to tap into healing on a physical, mental, and emotional level. You may have heard the breath and all of this referred to as pranayama, chi, prana, life force. All of this is talking about the same thing, that the breath is the ultimate tool for our transformation. Because all of the medicine already exists within us. Sure, we can work with plant medicines, which in some cases I'm a proponent for, but when we can tune into our breath, something as simple yet extremely overlooked as breathing, something in us begins to change. And we begin to remember what we've always and already know. And so breath work is this incredible practice that brings all of this together, which is an active form of meditation, tapping us into our own source of vitality, our own source of clarity, of energy that exists within us, bringing us back into our power center. And so when we're breathing, we are beginning, and especially when we're breathing in a parasympathetic way, meaning slow into the diaphragm, in through the nose, out through the mouth, we are beginning to lower our cortisol levels. We are beginning to enter that parasympathetic state that I was speaking about, that rest and digest state. And from there, everything becomes clear. We become more connected. We become more present. Everything slows down and the world begins to open up. Not just the external world, but our own internal world and the dimensions of reality that are always around us, but we might not be able to see, perceive, or hear. And this is why the breath is one of the ultimate tools for allowing us to tap into a greater state of creativity, of inspiration, of insight, where maybe you've experienced this before, where you just receive downloads of information, of information. And this information then is informing your reality, where the voice of the ego is starting to quiet down and the voice of the soul is turned up. And beyond that, we begin to clear old trauma patterns, energy, imprints, emotions that have been stuck in us for most of our lives. We become more clear. We feel more embodied, more authentic, and more alive. This power of our breath can completely change the game. And whether you are a seeker, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a leader, whether you are an athlete, no matter who you are, if you have a pair of lungs and you are breathing, breath work is for you. Now I'm going to go much deeper in other videos. You'll find other videos where I'm going to go deeper into the science, into the metaphysics of breathing. But in this moment, I just want you to take just this few minutes to join me in 10 slow, rhythmic breaths. And you begin to just notice the shift in your state by doing this. So if it feels good, if it feels comfortable, just inviting you in this moment to find a comfortable position and close down your eyes. And just come into awareness of you sitting in the chair, the couch, the floor beneath you. And just gently beginning to scan your body. Starting at the head and just moving down through your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your belly, down through your hips, down through your legs, into your feet. And perhaps you may notice some areas of tension, some areas that are a bit constricted. Just simply observe. There's no changing, no fixing. And as you drop into this internal space, we're going to begin to take 10 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just exhaling out all of the air and taking a deep breath in and exhale. Breathing in through the nose, engaging the diaphragm. And exhale out the mouth. Again, deep breath in. powerful breath out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Two more. In, out. Last one, deep breath. And release. Just hold for a moment. Pause. And breathe back in. Just returning to your normal breath. Begin just to perceive even the most subtlest of shifts. Just through 10 conscious, intentional breaths. When you're ready, you can begin to open your eyes. Just notice the space around you. Perhaps feeling a little bit more clear, a little bit more at peace, a little bit more grounded in your body. Now imagine doing this for an extended period of time. And for those of you that want to go deeper, of course, you can download the Beats and Breath app. We have over 100 breathwork sessions on there, ranging from 3 minutes to 45 minutes. And taking this opportunity every day to bring conscious awareness to your breathing. And by doing this, you will completely shift and elevate, optimize your life on every single level. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationally, creatively. The breath has the power to completely alter your life. And if you want to go deeper into the science of metaphysics, there's more videos as well as my book, Master Your Breath, Transform Your Life. And leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your reflections. See you next time. Sending you positive energy. Peace.